The 2013 Aprilia Tuono V4 R APRC. The Aprilia Tuono V4 APRC ruled the World Superbike Championship, so it's one of the best naked bikes you can find on today's market. Power comes from a V4 engine, which delivers 167.3 horsepower, and is mounted on completely revised chassis architecture. The first three gear ratios are now shorter, while the maximum torque value of 111.5 Nm is on tap at 9,500 revolutions per minute, two characteristics that give the Tuono V4 R a huge power at low and mid-engine speeds. The bike features triple mapping for instantly tailoring the performance and is also available with APRC. Up front, the Aprilia Tuono V4 R APRC is fitted with an upside-down fork with 43 mm diameter. There are also forged aluminium caliper mountings and a completely adjustable spring preload. The front wheel travel is rated at 120 mm. Out back, there is double-braced aluminium swingarm combined with Sachs piggy back monoshock with completely adjustable spring preload and hydraulic compression and rebound damping. The rear wheel travels as 130 mm. As far as design goes, the new V4R keeps the same triple light layout found at the original Tuono. Hit the jump for more information on the Aprilia Tuono V4 R APRC. Overview. From the bike which dominated the World Superbike Championship, Aprilia extracts the fiercest naked ever seen. The only bike of its kind with a V4 engine, the most powerful, with 167.3 horsepower, and the most effective, with a completely revised chassis architecture that sets new benchmarks for the class. A naked sports bike capable of dominating any road with its indomitable performance and with the most advanced active safety features in the segment. Triple mapping for instantly tailoring the performance to your own preferences. Also available with APRC, the second-generation dynamic control suite developed on the basis of Aprilia's racing experience. A superbike with high handlebars. After creating the best superbike of the new millennium, Aprilia revolutionizes the supersports naked segment with its astonishing new Tuono V4 R. A bike that goes beyond the wildest dreams of even the most hardcore enthusiasts, the rider who, given the chance, would use a race bike just to go for a coffee. For riders like these and for those with power in their veins, Aprilia has created a motorcycle with the indomitable spirit of the RS V4 in a feline body that is in its element when accelerating and braking with unimaginable violence, that eats up curves of any radius and swallows straights whole. The performance and features of a superbike, the agility of a naked and the legacy of an innovative concept born in 2002 with the Tuono 1000 R, a bike that earned both critical acclaim and sales success, but with an extraordinary new ace up its sleeve, the performance of a 65 degrees V4 engine and the most advanced electronics available in a motorcycle today. Like the original Tuono, the new V4R is also immediately recognizable with its triple headlight fixed top fairing, the distinguishing trait of a bike which, like its twin-cylinder predecessor, has the body and soul of its WSBK homologate sibling, but now, as well as having two World Championships, the 2010 Constructors and Riders titles, under its belt, features two more cylinders and 41 horsepower more than before, while weighing over 10 kilos less. These astonishing figures are a testimony to the technological evolution that made this exciting new model a reality. The new bike is available in two different configurations, Tuono V4 R and Tuono V4 R APRC, and in a choice of three colors: competition black, sunlit yellow and wing gray. The motorcycle. With its 65 degrees V4 engine unashamedly flaunted and framed by the brushed aluminium elements of the twin spar frame, the Tuono V4 is a naked clad only with the bare minimum necessary to let you saddle up and teach it to respond to your will. Adding yet another touch of aggressiveness is the aerodynamic new top fairing tipped with two polyelliptical headlights and LED indicators at the sharp end, which gives the bike the unequivocally mean, daunting stare that you'd expect from a machine with an incredible 167.3 horsepower. Tuono V4R boasts more power than ever seen before in a naked, achieved by reconfiguring the V4 engine of the RS V4 to make it better suited to street use. The features inherited by the Tuono V4R from the RS V4 include the new exhaust system with bypass valve, which is 2 kilos lighter than the system used on the RS V4R, and latest generation ride-by-wire throttle control with 3 rider selectable maps: track, sport and road. The first 3 gear ratios are now shorter, while the maximum torque value of 111.5 Nm is on tap at 9,500 revolutions per minute, characteristics that make the Tuono V4R a wild beast at low and mid-engine speeds, with the ability to unleash a devastating hurricane of power at higher engine speeds. The Tuono V4R maintains a clear parentage with the twice SBK world champion in the proportions of the tail fairing, saddle, tank and side panels, and is one of the best examples of Italian motorcycle design from the past decade for its perfect balance between formal beauty and function. The rider will be taming this beast from a riding position tailored to create a symbiotic relationship between the body and the bike, for unparalleled feedback through the 3 points of contact: the saddle, foot pegs and handlebars. On the Tuono V4R however, the rider sits with less weight taken up by the arms, making the bike less strenuous to ride and extraordinarily nimble and controllable on the road. The original design of the saddle, which is generously sized and specifically shaped to comfortably accommodate a passenger, blends perfectly with the style of the side fairings and tail fairing. From the vantage point of the saddle and with the broad tapered handlebars firmly in your grip, you immediately discover that the APRC Aprilia Performance Ride Control version features an immediately intuitive joystick for rapidly accessing and adjusting the functions of the second-generation electronic dynamic control suite developed by Aprilia to let the rider explore the physical limits of riding. The engine. The Tuono V4R is the only naked powered by a narrow V65° 4-cylinder engine with unique characteristics. Extremely compact, as slim as a twin-cylinder and installed in an ultra-compact chassis, the 65° V4 engine is the epitome of Italian engineering ingenuity. The Tuono gives away very little to its RS V4 sibling in terms of pure performance, but in exchange offers a greater fluidity that make it more enjoyable and rewarding to ride on the road and when carrying a passenger. Power: 167.3 horsepower at 11,500 revolutions per minute. Torque: 111.5 Nm at 9,500 revolutions per minute. Rev limiter: 12,300 revolutions per minute in all gears. To achieve these results, a number of different modifications were made to the Aprilia V4 engine. New valve timing diagram. Fixed intake ducts now 20 mm longer. Crankshaft flywheel with increased inertia for improved smoothness and overall balance. Shortened gear ratios for the first 3 gears. Engine speed at maximum power reduced to 11,500 revolutions per minute on the Tuono V4R. The Aprilia 65° V4 engine specifications in short. Engine capacity, 999.6 cc. Architecture, 65° V4. Crankcase, monoblock with integrated crankcase liners. Timing system, 4 valves per cylinder operated directly by a camshaft driven by a mixed chain. Gear system, lateral timing chain and central gear train. Fuel system, electronic injection with a single injector per cylinder and integrated independent ride-by-wire system for each bank. 3 maps selectable from the handlebar, track, sport and road. Anti-vibration countershaft. Compression ratio, 13:1. Gearbox, 6-speed direct control cassette-type gearbox. Clutch, multi-plate wet clutch with mechanical slipper system. Electronic management, Magneti Marelli control unit managing ignition, injection and ride-by-wire system. The narrow V architecture translates into an engine that is incredibly compact in length, offering advantages in terms of mass centralization and making it possible to define a chassis architecture center of gravity that is both very low and almost perfectly centralized in the engine and vehicle for neutral, intuitive behavior and maximum responsiveness on the road. The innovative valve timing system, with the chain camshaft driving only the intake camshaft, which in turn drives the exhaust camshaft via a single gear, has allowed the use of extremely compact heads, just 250 mm at the rear of the engine, especially in the area beneath the frame spars, which are thus much narrower than would otherwise be possible. A countershaft dampens vibrations even more than in a 90° V engine. The monoblock crankcase with integrated aluminium cylinder liners ensures maximum rigidity and consistent performance. The electronic management system is another example of the 65° V4 engine's technological supremacy. Full ride-by-wire technology eliminates any direct connection between the throttle grip and the throttle valves, which are entirely controlled by a latest-generation Marelli control unit that also controls the ignition and the 4 injectors. Each bank has a dedicated servo unit actuating its own 2 throttle bodies only. This means that the aperture of the throttle valves and, as a consequence, the quantity of fuel injected, can be controlled independently. A solution that opens up practically infinite possibilities for power delivery control and works hand in hand with the APRC system. This technology, adapted appropriately for the prevalently road-based usage of the Tuono V4, offers immediately tangible benefits to the rider, with triple mapping, adjusting power delivery and maximum power, selectable directly from the handlebar, allowing the character of the bike to be modified to suit the rider's personal riding style or the track conditions at any time. Track, no compromise. All 167.3 horsepower of power available at the slightest twist of the throttle. Sport, maximum fun on the open road. Smooth delivery, maximum power. Torque limited in all gears for fun yet less demanding riding. Road, usability in all conditions. Smooth delivery and power attenuated by 25% across the rev range. Greater usability in all conditions. Ideal for the city or wet road conditions. The transmission has also been designed to meet most advanced criteria to offer the maximum performance possible. To underscore the racing soul of the 65° V4 engine, it is mated to a cassette gearbox with a wet sump lubrication system, with oil in the crankcase. The wet clutch features a mechanical slipper system for optimized engine braking, torque control and stability under hard braking. Aprilia Tuono V4 R APRC. Unparalleled efficacy and riding pleasure. This is the most complete version, equipped as standard with a steering damper and the APRC second-generation vehicle dynamic control suite. APRC is based on an automotive inertia sensor platform, with 2 gyrometers and 2 accelerometers, allowing the engine ECU to determine the dynamic state of the motorcycle and control engine torque accordingly to help the rider exploit the full performance potential of the bike. The APRC suite equipping the Tuono V4 R includes ATC Aprilia traction control, with 8 different settings for controlling sliding when powering out of curves in relation to bank angle and throttle aperture. The system has been tweaked to make the more conservative settings even more suitable for road use, while leaving the racing spirit of the less restrictive levels intact. AWC Aprilia wheelie control, which helps the rider maintain control in extreme wheelie conditions by gradually bringing the front wheel back to the ground, has been appropriately adapted for the different weight distribution of the Tuono V4. AQS Aprilia quick shift, which allows instantaneous upshifts without closing the throttle or using the clutch. Completing the suite of 4 functions is the most exhilarating of all. ALC Aprilia launch control. Simultaneously pressing both buttons on the joystick on the left-hand handlebar arms the system, as confirmed by the specific message on the display. From this moment on, all 167.3 horsepower of the beast from Knoll are ready to slingshot the Tuono V4 R like a missile as soon as the rider releases the clutch, unleashing the astonishing power onto the tarmac through every available square millimeter of the 190/55 rear tire. And tire size does not matter to APRC, as with its calibrating function, it is the only system of its kind on the market capable of self-adapting to tire size and drive ratio. Tuono V4 R APRC is a bike with 2 personalities, with 2 distinct display modes, road and race, to cater for even the most exacting rider. Chassis. In keeping with the Aprilia tradition of creating state-of-the-art chassis architectures, the aluminium frame of the Tuono V4 R exploits the strength and flexibility of cast and pressed elements in a structure that sets new benchmarks in terms of balance and dynamic efficiency. The result is maximum torsional stiffness and flexional stiffness optimized for improved feedback. Unlike the previous generation twin-cylinder Tuono 1000 R, the frame developed for the Tuono V4 R has been completely revised with respect to the unit used in the RS V4 to maximize directional control and stability for a naked capable of over 270 km/h, on the track, of course, while maintaining the legendary safety and impeccable precision typical of Aprilia frames. This in turn led to new solutions in terms of chassis geometry, such as modifying the trail and lowering the engine in the frame to lower the center of gravity, for exceptionally neutral behavior and truly cat-like high-speed stability. This means that the Aprilia Tuono is not just a bike with devastating performance, but one whose greatest strength is precisely the incredible ease with which any rider can access its full potential. The swingarm also uses the same constructional technology as the frame and offers the same perfect balance between flexional and torsional stiffness to contribute to the extraordinary responsiveness of the Tuono V4 R. The unique construction technology of the frame and swingarm allows them both to proudly flaunt the naturally gleaming color of brushed aluminium, yet another feature that is increasingly rarer in production bikes that contributes to pure racing look of the Tuono V4. The mind-blowing new Naked from Aprilia comes equipped with the best components available on the market: Brembo brake system with radial calipers and 320mm floating discs at the front, 220mm at the rear, aluminium wheels with an all-new 3-spoke design weighing 2 kg less than the 5-spoke version, fully adjustable Sachs upside-down front fork with 43mm stanchions, and Sachs shock absorber with separate piggy back nitrogen canister featuring adjustable spring preload, compression and rebound damping and length, to modify the setup of the bike to suit different riding styles, roads and loads, including a passenger. The choice of dual compound tires is also new, with 3 different sizes approved for the rear wheel. The 190/55 tire fitted as standard may be replaced with a 250/5 or a 190/50 tire to explore the full performance potential of the bike, even on the track. Specifications. Quotes. Motorcycle news: handling and braking on track is as good as any superbike, and it's impressively stable for a super naked machine with high handlebars, thanks to its superb chassis setup and anti-wheelie control. It's the same confidence-inspiring story on the road, and your body isn't contorted into a race crouch, like on a superbike. The seat is very hard, though, and becomes a pain within an hour's riding. Ashen bikes, as supplied then the Tuono V4 R APRC is a cracking good track bike, and it's not beyond the wit of an owner to set up his own bike exactly like the one I was riding. The main obstacle would be that rear ride height adjustment, which you don't get on the stock bike, but the rest is doable. But this does have to skew the judgment of the bike. It's probably extremely good on the track out of the crate, but it won't be as good as you'll be reading in various reviews. Telegraph: happily for motorcycling's capacity to thrill, the new Tuono V4 R sticks closely to the same principle. It's based on the latest Aprilia superbike, the World Championship winning RS V4 Factory APRC SE, whose string of letters denotes a comprehensive electronics package that's also available as an option for the Tuono.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.